Now, in a special team report tonight, we talked with local people who have returned from the border of war-torn Ukraine and been deep in humanitarian rescue efforts. Our Jeff Roper starts us off.
Support for Ukraine can be seen all over our area, but to understand and go through what 4 million plus people are dealing with can bring everything into perspective. Right after coverage of the plight of the Ukrainian people broke, an Idaho Falls man felt a calling.
I've just come back from Krakow, Poland, which is just a couple hours off of the border with Ukraine.
Will Kesley is a licensed counselor in Idaho Falls, and he works with Sandhill Media. He also started sandhillrescue.com with the help of local radio listeners who funded his trip to the Ukrainian border.
We went to help wherever we could. You know, like many of you, I sat at home just horrified at what I was seeing.
The mission was simply to move evacuees away from danger.
We get 2 hours a night, 3 hours the most of sleep, and you just keep going to the border.
But it was more desperate, watching the homeless families in the middle of winter in Ukraine grabbing whatever they could, stuffed into grocery bags and shopping carts, walking hundreds of miles with no food, no water, and no answers.
And they said goodbye to these 10 children, and they turned around and got in their car and drove back across the border. And they just asked us to please make sure their babies were taken care of. You can't understand that until you stand there and watch it.
Kesley had no idea of the things he would see and experience.
And there was people working on a little baby, and the baby died from exposure.
Early on, so many women and children were trafficked while they were trying to flee, until a rescue system was set up for those coming to help.
I haven't had the heart yet to take them off. They'd barcode us, they'd barcode them, and if you were pulled over, which I was on 2 occasions, they'll check your car, and if they don't match, they arrest you.
Hours of driving, many times with no direction or GPS, just to a simple hotel room, away from the border, and even into Croatia, to give families a second chance at survival.
I said, is she okay? Is there something wrong? And she says, no, she does this every night and has since our house was shelled. She's having nightmares. This is a 1-year-old baby having nightmares. And so she just cries out with her eyes closed that she has these horrible nightmares. And then, you know, and like the mother says, I said, but how are you been? And she goes, I can't sleep at night because I can't get the bombs out of my head.
The courage and resolve of the Ukrainian people left Kesley in awe.
I've got stories that will never leave my mind or my heart, both beautiful and sad.
And it was the innocence and joy and simple bravery and trust of the children that inspired him most.
He's hauling his cars. I started walking. He immediately came over and grabbed his little hand, and he's hauling my cars. We're helping take this family.
She's giving him to us. Oh, thank you. Now watch what she does with her mommy.
And more civilians are still trying to escape Ukraine. Our Emma Benson spoke with some people in Poland who have been opening their homes to the refugees.
4.5 million. That's the number of Ukrainians who have fled their country. Their lives, their hopes and dreams put on hold.
You can go to shop, to the cinema, you can go on vacation, wherever you want. You can live your life, but they can't.
More than half of the refugees have crossed the border into Poland, most carrying only shopping bags of belongings. Poles like Greg and Lisa Pawlik have been housing refugees despite language and cultural barriers.
We have some issues in our history between Poland and Ukraine.
But those differences put aside to help those impacted by an unimaginable war.
We would never have expected that there will be people alive in our days who live close to our country that have similar experiences as my grandparents had.
Greg says through it all, the Ukrainians remaining resilient.
This is the first time I met so many people from there, and they're just wonderful people. So it's rewarding. It's not really a sacrifice when you get so much more than you give, you know.
The Pawliks were asked by their church to be refugee coordinators in charge of finding housing for the refugees and organizing travel to the border, taking supplies in and bringing refugees out.
Very few people who are taking things in come back without a car full of people. So
yeah.
They're astounded by how many people have been willing to pitch in.
Faith in humanity is greater than ever.
I'm very touched because so many people are willing to help.
Agnieszka is part of the refugee effort in Poland's capital, Warsaw, where she too has had refugee families staying at her house.
We are not important. The most important are refugees. We just here to help them.
Her main role? Give them a meal and a safe place to sleep, away from the dangers of war.
One man from Kiev, I said, how are you? How do you feel? And he said to me, Agnieszka, the most important for me is that the sky is clear. There is no any bombs. It seems to me, normal. We open the window, you can see the sky. But for them, it was something what they really appreciate, to see clear sky. I think we can learn a lot from these people.
I'm Emma Benson, reporting.
Nearly 10,000 undocumented Ukrainians have been processed by U.S. border officials in the past 2 months. The Department of Homeland Security says thousands of refugees who are displaced by Russia's invasion of Ukraine have also traveled to Mexico, hoping to request refuge in the United States.